I2U2. We just started up the cards. We started or completed? We started. Not sure. Okay. So we have to share screens. So as I have told you multiple times, whatever comes in the contemporary events, like the current affairs part, that is your international relations for UPSC perspectives. Yes, but I2U2 is not technically Indo-Pacific region. I2U2 is more about West Asia, right? India and West Asia relations. So what is I2U2? Did I give you brief or did we just start Abraham Accords? We just started. Did I tell you about Israel and its interlinkage? How Israel and UAE and other countries are coming into contact with each other, and that is leading to the spillover effects of I2U2. So, what is advantage for India? The advantage for India is, see, we have common friends, right? Who are the common friends? India have common friends in the form of USA, Israel, okay, UAE. Are all these nations independently closer to India? Right? Okay, all these nations are also bilaterally very close to India. Yes, and at the same time, some of these nations are also important for our oil security or sovereign wealth funds. Sovereign wealth funds, and the most important of all these people is USA. So USA have good control over the West Asian countries. Okay, USA have good control over the West Asian countries, right? When USA have good control over the West Asian countries, Israel also have good relations with West Asian countries, right? So everybody is connected to everybody. We are just leveraging those relations. We are not starting something new. There is nothing that new that India have done. What is I2U2? Two I's. That is India and Israel. Okay. Two U's. USA and UAE. Are any of these nations new? No. But combinedly, all of these nations are already bilaterally very good with each other. It's not only India and UAE, UAE and Israel, UAE and USA. So all four are strong players in the region. All four are strongly connected with each other. All we are doing is leveraging those relations. And how are we able to leverage that relations? The simple concept is Abraham Accords. So Abraham Accords is not related to India. India has nothing to do whatsoever with the Abraham Accords. Abraham Accords is more or less with these countries, US, Israel and UAE. Israel, as I told you, has a religious connotation, that is a Jewish country. Okay. So Israel and the other Gulf countries or Arab countries are not having good contacts overtly. That means face to face. Now that they have to talk to each other insidely, that is how the relations change. What is advantage of India in all this scenario? Again, I don't want to go into too much nitty-gritty, but common sense will tell you one thing. As I told you, from 1970s till 2010 or more or less this period, which region was most dominated? West Asia, or what we call as Middle East. Middle Eastern countries are very important. Why? They have one thing, that is oil. Oil is the wealth of 21st century. Like oil is the most important 20th century. Oil is the most important resource. Literally, deserts were converted into the richest places on the earth. Okay, Saudi is so filthy rich that it can give so much amount of money to anybody. If you go to the richest persons in Saudi Arabia, they have hundreds and hundreds of cars collections. So all that money comes only from oil. Oil is the important thing. And who wanted oil? USA wanted oil. Yes or no? USA is a developing country. Developing countries needs a lot of oil. Okay. Developed in the sense it was already a superpower, but to become even stronger, better, it needed more energy, more oil. So energy security of USA was totally dependent on these oil producing nations. Right? Now, after 2010, what happened? USA discovered something called as shale gas. Shale gas in its own backyard. That means USA founded oil in its own backyard. So the moment you discover shale oil, you are no longer dependent on shale gas. You are no longer dependent on the Middle Eastern nations. Okay, you left them. Okay, and one more dimension is this oil is not forever. Is oil forever? Is oil forever? No. Why? First of all, we will run out of oil one fine day. Okay, that is given. Apart from that, we will also have one more thing that is called as renewable energy. The world is moving towards renewable energy. The world is moving towards renewable energy like electric vehicles and all that. Okay, now continue to spend lavishly. Let's say I'm Saudi Arabia. I'm making money now because I'm selling oil. If I continue spending money mindlessly, will I have money forever? No, one day that money will evaporate. So what they have done smartly is they have created something called as sovereign wealth fund. Not only Saudi Arabia, example wise, for example, Qatar, UAE, all these countries have created something called as sovereign wealth funds. What does the name say? Sovereign. That means government or nation is having a wealth fund. That means all the money that is made by selling oil will be put into one basket. Okay, so that's like a huge capital reserve, right? Sovereign wealth fund. And also they are promoting something called as tourism, right? Okay, until recently, for example, unmarried couple were not allowed in most of the Gulf countries. Just as an example, because they don't need tourists. Okay, most of the Westerners are Indians or whoever, they want to go for recreational purposes, right? But the thing is, recently they have given up on all these things because they understood we want the West to realize that Middle Eastern countries are a tourist destinations. If you see the movies like Mission Impossible, okay, they have lobbied very nicely so that Abu Dhabi, the Burj Khalifa, and all those things are included in the movie so that people will know the tallest building in the world. Okay, why else will you construct the world's tallest building in the middle of a desert? Yes, it's more about tourism, making money. Okay, they're developing resorts, palm islands, and all these things only for one reason, that is to keep the revenue going. One day oil will run out, but I need more money to sustain. Okay, so all these changes are being made by the Gulf countries. Okay, still this is not an immediate transition, right? Like overnight people don't stop consuming oil. Countries like China, India, we still need oil at least till 2040, 2050. Yes, so our dependency will be there. Apart from this, the sovereign wealth fund will also come to countries like India and China. Okay, think about it. What does India have? India have demographic dividend, future industrialization potential. I told you all these points, right? So if all I need is money, so lot of Gulf countries money will be invested in India. India will develop. What will India give back? India will give back returns. Okay, so this is the new cycle that the Gulf countries want to create. They need trade, not only from oil. See, if I remove oil as an equation with the Gulf countries, what else do they offer? Why do I need these Middle Eastern countries? Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. What do I have with them? Connectivity to EU. Okay. Connectivity to EU. How does that work? So all these nations or all these regions have common sharing, right? Investments in India. Okay. Again, as I said, oil, right? If I remove oil, you have to find other sources. Okay. If I remove oil, why will Saudi Arabia, India be friends? Only two reasons. One is either you talk about Islam. Okay, India have a lot of Muslims. Saudi Arabia is a Islamic country, and Saudi Arabia have one of the, two most holiest shrines of Islam. Yes or no? Makkah and Medina, right? Then again, as I said, oil, or either you have gold, or you have tourism, or then finally you have investments. Okay, so this is soft power. This is again more about imports. India will not gain anything by importing gold, right? We are not exporting gold, we are importing gold. Oil, we are energy dependent nation. All of you know this point. Okay, these two are the new emerging areas. We need to work more on these things so that relations will get stronger. And also we can make sure that China's footprint is reduced. Simple logic. If we don't increase our footprint in any part of the region, who will occupy that region? China will occupy that region. Simple. So people usually call I2U2 as Middle Eastern Quad or Quad 2.0 or and all these things. But officially we never give that parallels because we never call I2U2 as Quad. Officially that is not the right point. So write down some points just for idea's sake. Abraham Accords. Did I dictate? No, right? Israel with the help of USA, Israel with the help of USA have formalized, Israel with the help of USA have formalized relations with UAE, United Arab Emirates. Okay, this agreement, this agreement this agreement strengthens diplomatic ties, comma, trade and connectivity. Next point. It also aims to achieve peace and stability. It also aims to achieve peace and stability. In the brackets, Israel Palestine. What is India's official stand on Israel Palestine?
Separate.
That is dehyphenation. That is not official stand. What is India's official stand? Any idea? Ever heard? Think. You might have heard. Recollect. Two-state theory. What India promotes is two-state theory, right? Okay, that means two states. India and Israel are separately two states. So India's official stand is two states theory. Okay. We still recognize Israel, sorry, Palestine as a separate entity. That is very clear for India. Next. The next point. The favorable conditions the favorable conditions created by Abraham Accords led to creation of I2U2. India, Israel, USA, UAE. Okay. So what is the achievement of I2U2? What are they planning to do? It helps. It helps. It helps India's sphere of influence in West Asia. India's sphere of influence in West Asia and complements Look West policy. It also limits China's footprints and Pakistan's influence. Bilaterally, next point, bilaterally India is also strengthening ties with UAE, Saudi, etc. Right? Anything else? Last point. It brings closer India and GCC. GCC. What is GCC? Gulf Cooperation Council. It brings closer Gulf Cooperation Council. Yes. As you can understand, Gulf Cooperation Council is a group of Gulf countries. The Gulf countries normally do not entertain India. Okay. So Pakistan was a member of Pakistan is a member of Gulf Cooperation Council. Pakistan do not want India and these Gulf countries to talk to each other. So Pakistan had a good influence over that. Now that we have better relations with UAE and Saudi Arabia, nobody cares about Pakistan. The proof is India was recently invited, recently in the sense 2-3 years ago, India was invited to Gulf Cooperation Council as a honorary member and all these things. So that shows that if we have direct contact with Gulf Cooperation Council, we don't have to worry about Pakistan's influence. Next. The Gulf states are also important for energy security plus diaspora. Energy security plus diaspora. Last point. It improves trade and investment in India for infrastructure in the brackets Aramco, ARAMCO. What is Aramco? Aramco is a company. It 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 is a company. What is Aramco? The largest oil refinery in the world, Saudi Arabia's Aramco, plus Reliance. Like Reliance and sovereign wealth fund. You need to just remember sovereign wealth fund. So as all of you know, where money flows, their relations will get stronger and better. More money means better relations. So how will money flow? Money flows when you keep talking to more and more people. So map wise, if this is India, we are mostly focused on Indo-Pacific region. Okay. But now whatever we are talking is this region, right? So India will have better sphere of influence. More sphere of influence means more money will flow into India. The more money means the better for India's overall development. And also same time, they also need India. It's a mutual dependency. So the other spillover effects, like for example, let's say we can control Pakistan in a way because nobody listens to Pakistan. There is also a criticism that Saudi funds Wahhabism, right? Saudi funds Wahhabism. That means petro money funding terror money or terrorism. So petrodollar is funding terrorism. So if we are closer to Saudi Arabia, we can directly talk to Saudi Arabia not to fund certain religious organizations which are promoting extreme format of Islam. It's okay if you promote the Islam, no problems. But if you promote the Wahhabism, which is the extreme format of Islam, that is a threat. Okay. Saudis also have ties to Afghanistan, the Taliban, because Saudis have money, they can control all these areas like Pakistan, Afghanistan. Okay. And Saudis are also very close to USA. So we can leverage our friendship with Saudi to get things done, that is counter-terrorism and stop the development. Next is, if we promote tourism, for example, India is one of the largest minorities in the world. So we can have direct tourism relations with Saudi Arabia. So Saudi needs tourists, India have its citizens. So we can develop some mechanism where both of us will be happy. Because Saudi is getting good amount of money from India, Saudi won't do any anti-Indian activities. That is also one thing. It will cement our relations. Second thing, it will also secure our energy security, right? Like, okay, I don't have to worry about Saudi Arabia sending me oil. And as all of you know, Saudi is a key member of OPEC countries, oil producing economies. Okay, so recently OPEC countries have decided to reduce the oil production. That affects India, right? So maybe in the future we can also influence OPEC countries oil production. That is again a long-term game, but simply put, these are the advantages. Okay.
So that the relations between US and UAE was that recently the Biden has visited that Saudi relations. Some
again remember, yeah, simple thing is within the Middle Eastern countries, again there is no unity. Just because they are all Islamic countries doesn't mean they talk to each other. Within them they have a lot of differences, and the most obvious difference I told you, right? Saudi and Iran, Shia and Sunni. So they are just one group where if we have influence, it is good for India's energy security. In 2040, if assume India has totally moved away from energy security, we no longer depend on Gulf countries. Do you think we really care about all these countries? Yes. So we are using each other. They need money, we need money. They need future protection, we also need future protection. These things keep going up and down, like it's not like permanent. So in spite of all these things also, still they might support the Wahhabism, they might promote the radicalization. Nothing can be sure. Again, as all of you know, the biggest problem is dogmas of Delhi. We have to change our thinking that we have a lot of potential to exploit the Middle Eastern countries. We have to take things further. If we don't take things quickly, we'll waste a lot of time and somebody will occupy that market. Then we will feel bad again. Yes. So I2U2 is simply this mechanism where it is still evolving and it influences and increases India's influence. So it's a golden opportunity for India because we were not focused on the Western Asian countries. We were focusing bilaterally. Recently, we concluded CEP, a comprehensive economic partnership with UAE, right? So bilaterally we were fine, but organization-wise we were not good. So suddenly we have something to leverage. And as you know, Israel is the most important player of all the nations. It has technology, it has weapons, it has software, everything. Israel is a wonderful friend to have. And India is having a good relations with Israel. Clear? Yes. What about Israel-Palestine issue? Should we support Palestine? No? What is India's official stand? As I told you, two-state theory, right? In Israel and Palestine should settle the issue amicably, bilaterally, and peacefully. Israel should give certain land to Palestine. Palestine should accept whatever it is getting, and both of them should be happy in the long run. This is the hope. This is the dream. Okay, but in reality, Palestine do not have any kind of support whatsoever. Everybody has more or less given up on Palestine. Everybody is trying closer to what? Be with Israel. You can understand by looking at Abraham Accords, right? If countries like UAE, see Saudi out of ego cannot directly go and talk to Israel, but you will be innocent to believe that Israel and Saudi are not talking. All these countries happily talk behind. There are good relations between Israel and Saudi, Israel and UAE. Earlier also they used to have good contacts, but only indirectly. Now they are talking directly. But Saudi Arabia, because it is a leader of the Islamic countries, okay, it cannot say I'm going and talking to Israel. Maybe 1 year down the line or 5 years down the line, this might also happen. But as of now, Israel and Saudi are also having decent relations. So indirectly, what I'm trying to tell you is nobody's bothered about Palestine. And second thing, Palestine has chosen a terroristic way, like not everybody. There are some groups within Palestine which have used violence against Israel. So the moment you use violence, automatically you lose the moral authority. That is the problem. If you have chosen the Gandhian way, then probably it would have worked very nicely. Yes or no? You are carrying a white flag and somebody shot you, then the entire world will support you. But you are also carrying a grenade launcher, then nobody will say sorry for you. So violence only gets more violence. And all the tactics you see that is adopted by Indian right wing, bulldozer, JCB tactics, everything is textbook adaptation of Israel and Palestine tactics. So this is exactly how Israel dealt with Palestine. Clear? Yes. Why else do we need Middle East or West Asia? See, Middle East is nothing but West Asia. Middle East is middle to whom? To USA. So that is a technical term of USA. Whereas for India it is West Asia. We use West Asia. So why is West Asia important for India? When I say Russia, the first thing comes to your mind is weapons, defense, right? In the same way, when I say West Asia, the first thing is energy security. The only reason why we need West Asia as of now is oil, energy security. And it is around $100 billion or more than $100 billion. That is a huge amount of money. Apart from this, the next thing that should come to your mind is diaspora. A lot of Indians are there in the West Asian countries. If you go to any part of West Asia, you will find an Indian. So whenever there is diaspora, there is involvement of people-to-people relations. So if we treat that country badly, our citizens will suffer. If we treat nicely, our citizens will thrive. The advantage is they will send back that money to India. So if you know that, if you already know, India is the largest remittance receiver of the world. That means we receive more money than any other country in the world. And a good amount of that kind of money comes only from West Asia. The entire economy of Kerala in certain years were dependent on remittances. Okay, so the Dubai money or the money from West Asian countries is important for India's development. Yes, right. Next, what else? The third point I told you, right? They have sovereign wealth funds. They have money, and we have requirement. So energy security, diaspora, investments. So these are the three major pillars of India-West Asia relations. Next, what else? Soft power, the soft power connect, right? Islam directly, obviously, Islam is an important connect. We are technically closer to Iran, right? We are good with Iran, but also Saudi. See, it's hard. For example, as I told you, Shia population and Sunni population, we have to balance the relations. We are not taking sides. Luckily, we were never forced to take sides in the Gulf countries. We dealt with everybody on an individual basis. It is working for India.
But after US sanctions on Iran, India relations were a bit.
But still, we supported Iran, right? Like we still purchased oil from Iran. USA gives exemptions to India. So it's, see, again, as I told you, it's a show off by USA. USA threatened India that if you import oil from Iran, you will be punished. India said indirectly, we will still buy oil, do whatever you want to do.
But the percentage was different.
Definitely.
Towards Iran.
Definitely. But still we are buying. I mean, your point is 100% valid, but we didn't do anything, right? It was imposition of USA. Okay, it was imposition of USA. One danger is like, for example, $400 billion were promised by China to Iran. Okay, you can think of it in any perspective, but ultimately the soft power or the bilateral ties, that is more important, right? India allows Iranians, and we have a lot of people coming from Iran also. So that will not go away, and it is only a matter of time. If once things normalize with Iran, between US and Iran, automatically India will thrive.
Will it affect India and US?
No, I don't think so. See, JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, is there, right? So it is a relation between USA and Iran. So it was supposed to normalize relations. And trust me, before 1975, I told you, right? Iran and USA were like Jaiviru, Sholay, best of the friends. If you think of any two countries which are very close in the Middle East, it was USA and Iran. That was how close they are. Only because of the Ayatollah Khomeini, the revolution of Iran, the relations became totally opposite. Obama tried to normalize that relations using JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Okay, but again, Donald Trump, the unsung hero of the world, okay, he came and he destroyed everything. So the problem now is Iran is technically a victim of the sanctions of the West. Okay, just like Russia. More you push Russia or Iran into sanctions, automatically they will go closer to China. But both of them have one dream, that is to be the closest friend with USA. Right? And right now there is a lot of revolution that is happening within Iran, that women, the hijab issue and all those things. So we never know. Iran is a very progressive country. It's not a dogmatic country, right? They are not followed by, orthodoxy. It's a progressive nation. India is always closer to Iran. So I won't call Iran is out of India's sphere as of now, unless we are not proactive. Okay? And second thing, we don't have the position right now to say no to USA also. We need Iran, but at the same time, we need USA more. So we are choosing our own national interest. The best thing is India can ask USA to go slow, to go easy on Iran. So we can cut the tree from that side rather than this side. Yes. So I hope you'll remember all these points, right? When I say West Asia, what are the points you have to remember? Energy security, diaspora plus remittances, investments. These three are the major things. These are the emerging areas. What happened in the past, nobody cares. Right now, this is more important. Apart from this, you can also add Islam and the Shia-Sunni conflict and all those things. Tourism, Shia-Sunni conflict. That means if Iran and Saudi Arabia have an issue, India will also have an issue. Because India also have both Shias and Sunnis. So this is a soft connect. Next, what is the threat? What are the common threats in West Asia? As you know, wherever your network goes, we will follow. That is China's policy, right? So automatically China's influence will increase. If India is not having a good connect, China's footprint will increase. And next one is security, terrorism, promotion of terrorism, or ISIS, Al Qaeda, and all these things. All these institutions also getting money from West Asian countries. Terror, that is what we call as terror financing, right? Like Gulf countries have money, the money can be used for financing terrorism. Pakistan is world famous for terror financing. Okay. So Saudi Arabia and other countries are also blamed for terror financing. Even if you look at Dr. Zakir Naik, you might have heard about him. Zakir Naik. He's hiding right now, I think, in Indonesia. He was an Indian. He's an Indian. He was hiding. He used to give speeches, provocative speeches, and all those things. He was a very famous preacher. Okay. Even his organizations were funded by the Gulf money. So slowly they indoctrinate, right? If you go to the some parts of Uttar Pradesh, madarsas and all these things also get a good amount of money from South, the West Asian countries. Okay, but they promote Wahhabism. So again, Sufism is a softest version of Islam. It promotes love, peace, mutual connectivity, and all these things. All shrines, dargahs, you see, is more about Sufism. Even Kashmir follows a lot of Sufism. So Indian government should promote more Sufism. Wahhabism is extreme format of Islam. Legal only, right? Again, terror financing is obviously illegal. But if I'm funding a madrasa, that is legal. But I'm selecting which madrasa to fund because there is a preacher there who will promote Wahhabism. So I'm giving more money to him. So indirectly, what am I saying? I'm not giving money to Sufi school. I'm giving to Wahhabism. Then Wahhabism will thrive. Indirectly, I'm promoting extreme format of Islam. Sorry? Christianity in the sense? See, forcible conversions, definitely. That is why government has removed the NGO licenses. FCRA rules have been made strict, right? So because in the name of religion, some bad activities have definitely happened, no doubt about it. But we cannot paint everybody with the same brush. Okay. And also, there is one criticism. True that religious conversions are happening, but at the same time, the caste atrocities are not coming down. Because the casteism is not coming down, and poverty is still there, it's easy for people to convert into other religions. Okay, if you go and look at majority of the converts, why did they convert? For two reasons. One is monetary benefit. Like some benefit will be there if you go to church or something every Sunday, they will give you certain amount of money, rice, food, etc. The second thing is people are fed up with the inequality within the caste. Right? People call you by names even today. So they want to get out of that system. Right? So the recent Aam Aadmi Party case, where a MLA went, where 50,000 people converted into Buddhism. Because this is a problem. Funny fact, even Dera Baba, you might have heard about Dera Baba Sacha Sauda case. Okay, Punjab, Haryana. Even the Dera is famous because of casteism. Okay, people were fed up with the caste atrocities. In the Dera, everybody is equal. So all are equal. So that is why these things thrive. But definitely, as you said, the misuse of religion by both these organizations, like for example, some churches and some Islamic preachers have definitely caused a damage. Government is now bringing laws, stringent laws, foreign contribution, NGOs have been banned.
How the churches in India can
Churches will survive on a basic money, right? Like for example, you are not banning everything. I'm allowing you to get money as long as you have nothing to hide. You don't have to worry. See, what used to happen is, let's say I gave 100 crores to a big church. Okay, that is a very famous church or something, or a very famous NGO, right? Then I had the flexibility to give money to smaller churches. Okay, it has become more like a, you know, more people you convert, more money you will get. So I wanted to convert more people so that I can get more money. Presently, all such drama is done. Again, I'm not saying about churches or Islam, just general idea. An NGO, a bigger NGO can give money to smaller NGOs. So smaller NGOs will convert to more money. So more people I bring, more activity I show, more money I will get. So this is how it is. So you are creating a church, you are taking it as an employment opportunity rather than a religious faith, right? No. The irony of India is people convert to different religions out of compulsions, either religious compulsions or monetary compulsions, and then they still come back to Hinduism. I have seen personally people who are converted Christians. Okay, again they do this Navagraha Puja. Okay, because their son's Kundali is not working out for them. That means you cannot take out the original thought process. Like you are imbibed. Okay, so there is also criticism, rice bag converts. It's used as an offensive term, rice bag converts. That means you converted only for the rice bags. Right? So all these activities flourished because somehow there is a complacency in the state. The earlier governments did not take serious activity of this, and they also promoted this as vote bank politics. Okay, now these things have to stop because forceful conversion is wrong, right? Constitution do not give forceful conversions. Coercive conversions are also not a good thing. But if I'm converting out of faith, pure faith, best case is A.R. Rahman. Yes or no? His mother had a wish that if he survives, then we will practice Islam. So that is how Dilip Kumar become Rahman. That is fine. That is faith. Okay. Nobody have a problem with that. That happens very rarely. You don't find it on a common basis. But if you are doing it as a single point agenda, if you go to South Indian states also, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, even West Bengal, there is a huge amount of religious conversion. And almost the entire coastal part of Andhra is influenced by religious conversions, right? So the thing is, this money comes from the West. I mean, not only Middle East countries, even USA and all these countries fund a lot of money. So if you are in India, you have to follow Indian laws. Yeah. And religion, as you know, is a very, very sensitive issue in India. Anything that is said can be misunderstood. There are always good people, so we should support good people and good things. People who are doing it out of monetary incentives should be punished. That's the story. I hope you understood the West Asia, right? Yes. So I was told that from 2022 to 2019 papers have been discussed. So what is your major takeaway? What did you learn? First, you should understand the question. Okay. Good.
If required, we have to write this GS paper. It's not optional, so no need to write very deeply. So even sometimes until that I'm not told that our papers, suppose DS1 paper can be evaluated by an English professor also. So he also should understand. So in that way we have to write. If we mention any keywords, then we have to explain it in 2 to 3 words. Like for example, 2 plus 2 dialogue. Why? Like that we have to explain. Have to underline the keywords.
Okay.
Give proper introduction.
Yes. Yes, Pradeep, what did you understand by the classes, the answer writing discussion? Newspaper articles provide the direct examples to use in answers. Okay.
Understood the motive of what the countries are relying on, like strategic interest and national interest. And
Okay.
previous year questions, we got to know how the answer writing approach should be done. Like we got some insights, but we need practice on that.
Okay. So that's a good start. That is what you are saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. So Praja, what about you?
Sir, as I told you, I have found a lot of related stuff in the recent newspapers also. Most of the questions were based on what the current status of running relations between the countries and all. So
Okay.
I think most of the points were already covered by Hema. So
Okay. Yeah. Yes. What did you learn? Minimization of length. Okay. How? You have to minimize that answer. 150 or 250 words. Okay. Okay. So how do you minimize? By not writing so much about one point. Yes.
First of all, we should have the basic idea means what are we have the relations with each country. The conventional issues can then add up because most of the questions will be on the recent issues. Further, we can see the relations going on so that we can give a comprehensive answer.
You attended the classes? One class. So what is your takeaway? Based on the demand of the question. Okay. So most of you haven't practiced answers, right? So theory is easy. As I said, theory is very easy to understand. But when it comes to writing part, the one challenge that you will find is, first of all, the demand of the question. Most aspirants will write what they know, not what is asked. Yes, I will only write what I know because I cannot leave a blank paper, right? I have to fill something. So what will I fill? I will fill with what I know rather than what is asked. That is called as context. Okay, context and relevancy. These are the two most important things in your answer writing. Context and relevancy. For example, if I say, what are the implications of I-2U2 on India? Okay, if the student is not understanding the question, he will go back and start with Abraham Accords and he will directly say, I-2U2 means these four countries, India, US and all these things. But what is actually the question? The question is implications of I-2U2 on India. That addressing that is relevancy. Higher your relevancy, more your score. Okay. Second thing, your answer will always have to have structure. Structure. What I mean by structure?
Too much introduction.
See, all those things forget for a second. So just for a moment, I will flip it like this. If this is your A4 sheet, okay, not technically A4, but okay, understand it. So this is intro. Intro will be maximum of 3 to 4 lines. Okay, 3 to 4 lines. And intros can have two things. One is context, why that question is asked, or explain. For example, if I-2U2 is there, okay, you will start with India, Israel, UAE, and United States have recently launched I-2U2 program. So that not only tells the examiner, the context. That means why the question is asked, what is happening in I-2U2. Okay, and at the same time, you explain what is I-2U2. Just imagine in the question paper, I-2U2 full form is not given. Okay, then majority of the aspirants don't know I-2U2. Then if you expand it, that is a good thing for you. But at the real mains level where 10,000 people are writing, everybody will know, at least majority of will know, but you have to still showcase your simplicity, directly entering into the point. So no beating around the bush is the best way to give intro. Okay, and by looking at the intro, you should know that you know the topic, right? And second thing, let's imagine you practiced good number of answers in writing bullet points. So every question you know, you'll write in bullet points. Every question you don't know, you'll start writing in paragraphs. By looking at your answer copy, I can tell you which question you know, which question you don't know. Okay, that is bluff. Don't do that. When I look at all the 20 answers as an examiner, I should not know which questions you know, which questions you don't know. Everything should look similar. So even your bluff should be polished. Okay, next. Before you start the answer, you can imagine something called as proto answer. Proto answer means you can imagine the points. Okay, what is, let's say we'll take the question I2, U2 and its influence on India, right? So the question is saying influence. So should I be writing only influence? So first, what should be my proto answer? My proto answer should be, in my mind, I imagine intro should be there. Then how it influences India. Okay, then there are any issues. Okay, then there is way forward. This is something that I have imagined. If I don't imagine all these things, what will happen is I will write influence like for 75% of the time. Then I don't get the time place to put issues and way forward. So I have to balance my points. So I should know there are not many points. There are hardly 4 or 5 points. I have to drag the answer. Okay, next. So as a third ranker told me, your answer copies should be like a cool drink in a summer day. To whom? To the examiner. Cool drink in a summer day to the examiner. That means the moment I look at your answer, it should be crisp, simple, straightforward, no complications, very neat answer. How you have written the intro. Then you will write one side heading. What is that side heading in this case? Influence of I2, U2 on India. Then within that you write 5 points. Okay, so the moment you write that answer, very simple, very straightforward. For example, the first point should always be addressed with keywords. Your keyword should be the side heading. That means imagine energy security. Will I do you to help India's energy security? So that is my first keyword. The very first point, the keyword is energy security. Then I will expand it. Okay. In the same way, second side heading, if I have a keyword, I will write it here. Okay. Investments. Next, it might also promote peace. Something. Okay. Right. I will tell you the advantage. Next, second side heading. Three points. Okay. And then way forward. Way forward can be in bullet points or in 3 or 4 lines, whatever works for you. Okay. Here, when I look at your answer, okay, the advantage is as a reader, you will only go in the ways that I want you to go. Okay, why? Whatever you are seeing, this is called as structure. Okay, whatever you are seeing on the board is structure. That means 3 or 4 side headings, everything. The question has been bifurcated into 3 things. What is the influence of I2, U2 on India? I'm not only telling influence, I'm writing an intro, influence, issues, and way forward. This part is called as structuring part. Okay, this part is basically what? keywords. The role of keywords is to show something to the examiner. It will hit the eyes of the examiner. The moment he sees an answer, if I see I2U2, energy security, infra, investment, I won't even read what you wrote beside the heading. Just by looking at your side headings or the keywords, I know that you know the concept. Yes or no? Okay. Next is you are expanding the scope by adding second side heading. That is the issues part. In issues also you are underlining the keywords. For example, Pakistan's influence or terrorism, terror funding. Yes. So you are underlining those keywords. So as an examiner, tick, 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 I will only tick the important keywords. By skimming your answer, I will know you have written fantastically. First thing is you did not make my life very burdensome. I don't have to search. Array, what did this person write? Everything is like hitting me. Please look at me. Please look at me. Second, it takes 30 seconds to skim the answer. My life is very easy. I am not irritated. Second, I have seen all the keywords that I wanted to see. So I know you know the answer. So there is no reason for you not to give you marks. Yes or no? If I have to cut the marks, where will I cut the marks? You are not giving me any scope to cut the marks. Now imagine a clumsy answer. What will be a clumsy answer look like? Clumsy answer will look like a dump of everything. If this is an A4 sheet, okay, probably this is an A4 sheet, right? Normally, you will write 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph, 3 paragraph, 4 paragraph. So you are literally forcing me to read everything you wrote. Do you think I will have that kind of time? In reality, it won't have the time. The second advantage of this is you wrote 75% of what you will write in paragraphs here. Okay, but still it appears like you have written a lot. Why? Bullet points, spacing, headings, everything, right? You will also highlight everything. There is nothing to hide. So structuring, you understood? Intro, way forward or conclusion is same. Body part is most important. So this is how your answer should be. This is the purpose of keywords. Keyword is not something that you put on the paper because someone told you. Keyword is how you are explaining to the examiner that I know what you are asking. Okay. And now the most important problem is context. Okay. All this is presentation, right? Did you write what he asked? That is the game changer. You should know what you are writing. You should not throw something on my face because just that you know. Okay. Saudi Arabia is a very close friend to India. Why is Saudi Arabia coming in I2U2? Just because you know Saudi Arabia, you are throwing Saudi Arabia on my face. Okay, it won't give you marks. But if you say India, Israel, India, UAE have good free trade agreements or bilateral agreements, that makes sense. Why I2U2 members? Context. Everything is about context, right? What is asked? There should be some common sense behind what you are writing. That is a very difficult thing to achieve. Clear? Yes. So it takes immense amount of practice to create notes to write in this fashion. See, how you think is how you write. Always remember, how you think is how you write. This is not something, whatever you're seeing on the board is not something that is a final output. That is something that is how you think. In your mind, I2U2 blueprint is like this. In your mind, I2U2 notes itself is in this way. Okay, like these are the good points, these are the issue points. I will show you one more notes. For example, okay, right? Let's say this is my notes of Russia. Okay, this is how I think in context of Russia. If I think in these lines, it's easy for me to write in whatever I have showed you, right? Okay, the green thing is what are the areas we work with Russia. The red thing is where we have issues with Russia. Then we have Russia, Ukraine war, and then there is way forward. So your notes should be in keywords. Okay, now if someone asks you like what are the trade issues between India and Russia? What are the trade issues between India and Russia. You can pick up some points out of the trade and throw it on the face of the examiner. Got it? Are we clear so far? Yes. Answer writing is not the end. Answer writing is just a byproduct. You have to think in reverse fashion. If I have 10 pages of India-Russia notes, I will never write a simple answer. My India-Russia notes should be in keywords. But for you to understand the keywords, let's say I told you sovereign wealth fund, and next time you should not again ask me what is sovereign wealth fund. The moment I say sovereign wealth fund, you should know that Saudi, UAE, these have good sovereign wealth funds, and that is an investment. So, but you will write your notes as sovereign wealth fund. Keyword thinking. So if you think in keywords, your answers will come very naturally. So PhD is not required for UPSC. It is the other way around. You have to read a lot to summarize. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. To keep things simple is difficult. As a student, you will fear, oh sir, what if I don't write that fact? What if I don't write this fact? In that FOMO, fear of missing out, okay, what you will do is you will create a bulky note. In that process, you will forget even to put the most obvious things on the paper. I hope you understood, right? If I ask you again, if you don't write, let's say, energy security, investments, and diaspora as the first 3 points, okay, then your West Asia is weak. That is called as order of points. If I say Russia-India relations, the first thing is defense. If you write a defense in the 9th point, that means in your brain, you are not arranging the points properly. So India-Russia, what is the first point in your notes? Defense. But in your answer, it is 10th point. That means either you did not revise your notes or you did not understand it. That is called as order of points. In the answer writing, by looking at the first 4 points out of the 10 points, I should know you actually understand India-Russia relations. But if you write, ISKCON temple is very famous in Russia. Okay, Russians learn Hindi. There are old Hindi songs where Russian and Hindi influence are there. If these are the first 3 points, then the 4th point is defense. Then I won't give you marks. Why? The first 3 are useless. Nobody cares. Soft power will come later. Okay. Right? No? Understood? Any issues? Any questions? Yes, please. What's the discussion?
So told about font size.
Font size.
Mostly old people will correct the can't see small font.
Too much small is always a problem. At the same time, unless I see, and I mean someone with experience will say, your font is really bad or not, don't worry about font size. And second thing, you are not going to write mains tomorrow, right? Generally speaking, you have 300 days to practice. So even the worst handwriting, small font size, everything will improve with regular practice. So these are all nuts and bolts. It's like ironing out. With regular practice, all these things will go away. But end of the day, it's all about thinking, clearly thinking. Also think about it. If 10,000 people are writing mains, don't you think everybody will know the same points? Is it a secret notes that I have? No, right? Everybody who have access to Ministry of External Affairs website can have a wonderful notes. The problem is content is not the problem. Everybody will have access to same materials, same PDFs, same everything. Everybody will download, everybody will watch the same videos, same. But still, when it comes to writing, why are some people getting like 900 scores or 120 plus in GS paper too, whereas others are hardly getting 90? There's a 20 to 30 mark difference between topper and others. So there is something much more than just mugging up of data or presentation. Wonderful presentation is not equal to marks. People have mind-blowing handwriting, cursive writing. It's like print. Still, they are not getting scores. Someone with worst handwriting is also getting 120. So,
how do we let them know that our answer is unique?
It is not, again, that is a very good question. Answer should not be unique. That is a problem. answer should be relevant.
But if everyone writes the same relevant points,
That is the thing. Nobody writes the relevant point. Everybody will write what they know. Trust me. The problem with UPSC is it's not about adding new point. Remember my words. It's not the new data that gets you scores. It is how well you are presenting your existing data. Do you think people write all these points in the answers? There are hardly 10 points in issue, 10 points in convergence and way forward, right? Collectively, they have 15 points. So intro, convergence are where India and Russia are working together, issues and way forward. So 5 and 3, 13 points you have to write. Okay, people don't write 13 points in the first place. Second thing, even if they write, they will write something irrelevant. Okay, or they don't use a proper keyword. Relevancy is the single biggest problem in UPSC. Okay, because sometimes people don't understand the question. So don't chase new content. Okay, it is how well you are telling the existing point. Again, as I said, you haven't written a single test, right? Okay, when you sit and write 20 questions, you will come and tell me that that is exactly what happened. In the flow of speed, we will only write what we know. Nobody remembers. Clear? So while building the structure of our answer in our mind palace, we often lose certain points. Do retaining them come with practice, or do we need to put other an extra effort? Again, so when you lose certain keywords, definitely a single page notes will always help. Okay, there are two ways to handle this. One is keywords notes. See, there is one more topic I told everyone, that is called as tone of the paper. Tone of the paper. That means, let's say for example, when you talk to your dad, you talk in a different tone, right? Yes. When you talk to a teacher, you talk in a different tone. When you talk to your friend, you talk in a different tone. There is a difference in choice of words, difference in choice of depth. Everything is different. Okay, when friends, it's different. In the same way, if you take GS paper 2, there is polity, there is constitution, there is governance, there is social justice, then there is IR. Every area have a different tone. You cannot write what the same keywords of IR in governance. Governance has a different mindset, governance has a different tone. Okay, so there are two things. One is specific keywords, like topic based keywords, I2U2, sovereign wealth funds. These are topic specific keywords. Whereas overall IR, you have generic keywords like multilateral, multipolar world. So for governance, you have convergence, welfare, development, inclusive growth. These are generic terms of what? Governance. So for every paper, you can have a generic keywords database. I hope you understand the difference, right? Like for social justice, you have to talk a different language. For polity, you have to talk a different language, like prima facie. That is something you write in polity. In governance, you write, okay, at the first look, there is an issue. So there is a difference. You don't bring polity language into social justice or governance. At the same time, governance language is not used in IR. So paper 2 have 4 subparts. Every subpart have a different tone. Okay. Paper 1 have a different tone. In geography, you have to write geographical terms, right? You cannot say, the hill is high, the clouds will meet, and rainfall will happen. That will be the most laymanish, idiotic answer ever. You have to write orographic rainfall. So geography, you have to write orographic rainfall. In geography, faculty won't feel bad. Array, you wrote geography keyword. He appreciates your keyword. In governance, you have to write scheme names. So tone of the paper. So two things. One is generic keywords, topic specific keywords. For overall papers, you have generic keyword madinga. And for topic, you can also have a different notes. Are we clear? I think that should answer your question, right, Supraja? Yes. Two keywords, 2 keyword nodes. One is topic specific, like this. This is Russian specific keywords. Okay, from Chennai to Vladivostok. Far East, Act Far East, that is only specific to Russia. Act East is very generic for entire GS paper 2. Okay, Act Far East is only applicable to Russia. Okay, or if you take for example, Russia China friendship is no limit friendship. In the recent Rajamohan article also you have seen. So in Russia US relation, India relations, you have to write that no limit friendship. That should be in your notes. If no limit friendship is your keyword, then it should be in where? India Russia relations. You don't apply to every place else. In Pakistan, in China relations, what do you write? All weather friendship. So that is topic specific. But bilateral, multilateral, global groupings, minilateral, all these are paper specific. Yes. In the sense? Again, for example, again, you said, right? UN failure. UN failure. Where did UN fail? The most contemporary wars, right? Russia-Ukraine war is the best example. So that is an example. So whenever you write a theory, you have to write back up that theory with an example. So normally it's like every theory should be backed with example. Every theory should be backed with example. Every line of your point should have example. But that is not possible all the times. Conversion itself is examples some of the times. If you say defense trade, in the brackets you will write 60%. If India and Russia are having defense trade, okay, in the brackets you will write 60%. That means 60% of imports of Indian weapons only come from Russia. So that 60% is example. Substantiation. See, example, what is the purpose of example? Example is always about substantiation. That means you are telling a theory. If I say she is smart, okay, I have to give a proof that she is smart. How do you prove that? I gave an example, right? I gave a statement that she is smart. How do you prove that she is smart? You have to substantiate. Example is either fact, scheme, report. So according to, let's say, her parents or her academic records, she is smart. Okay, that is justification. So there should always be a justification. So substantiation is what is needed. Yes. So if I have to write Russia and China are getting closer, that is a generic statement. How do I substantiate that Russia and China are getting closer? Example is Russia is the largest exporter of oil to China, or China is the largest buyer of oil from Russia. So if I write that, only then that statement is validated, or else it's only a statement. Clear? You have to make notes in one page, A4 sheet. Okay, only in keywords. Then in the long run, you will remember. Before the mains exam, there will be a lot of materials with facts. So using, if let's say if you have prepared a similar notes, well, like what you're seeing on the board, you can add numbers just before your mains. In June, July, August, September you will have mains, right? June, July, August, if you already have a notes, all you have to do is take those various materials or newspapers and add facts, numbers. By that time, numbers will change, but the concepts won't change. So that is how you mug up. All in all, there will be hardly 150 such one sheet papers that you have to prepare. If you prepare 150 papers like this, all the topics in all the papers are done. That is simplifying UPSC preparation. But we make 10 times more notes on this only from today's newspaper. People make a 10-page notes on one day. Everyday newspaper, how much notes did you make? Sir, I wrote 6 pages. In the long run, none of these things will matter. You see, whatever we explain in the class is for you to understand them. That does not mean it is important. What you write is important, and how you write is only through keywords. Okay. Way forward is what India should be doing. There is a difference between way forward and conclusion, right? Conclusion is something that has been done. Okay. Conclusion can also include steps taken by the government. Okay. Say for example, 2+2 dialogue mechanism with Russia. That is already either a conclusion or steps taken. It is being implemented. Way forward is something that you have not done but should be doing. Way forward is futuristic. You should do something. You cannot go and write, India should start talking with Russia. That is not way forward. India is already talking with Russia. So probably what India should be doing is promote further free trade agreements. So you tell something in futuristic sense, that is someone else's view, obviously, right? Most of the times it is about either a government report or something. Unless they explicitly mention what is your opinion, you should not write your own opinion. You should always write some expert's opinion according to some expert, Brahmachalani or Shivshankar Menon, Raja Mohan. Right? So way forward is always about futuristic or national education policy, something. Got it? So if you have to make I2 U2 notes, will you make it as simple as possible? How many keywords do you think are there in I2 U2? Most aspirants will never maintain this keyword database. The problem comes in lack of keyword database. Okay, trust me, just before mains, everybody will chase materials. The problem comes in incorporation. If you make keywords notes and if you make keyword thinking a part of your daily life, okay, like the words, the vocabulary, everything becomes a part of who you are. Even in the sleep, if I wake you up, you will tell or you will talk in the same diplomatic language or same governance language. Okay. If you mug up something before the exam, you cannot throw it on the paper. Okay. Even if you throw it, it will be very, very artificial. There will be a difference. You'll understand all these things once you start answer writing. But till then, you have to take my word for it. Mugging up data in the last minute will work in school and college. In UPSC, it won't work. And assuming you are aiming for a very good rank, if you want to be somewhere in the list or just give interview and test your luck, waste 1.5 years of your life, then everything will work. Clear? Yes. Yes. So I have a genuine doubt. How do we know that you are smart? Conversation. Only when you open up. Our actions. Conversation and our actions. Okay. So tell me, what is Einstein's theory of relativity? P is equal to mc square. That is okay. So by telling that you are making a point that I'm smart. You are not. Okay, fine. It's a very difficult question, right? Like, how do you prove someone that they are smart? Response. Okay. So should people be smart? In some situations, being smart is a necessity. Okay. Next, thanks. We will discuss about again as India-Russia relations, right? Yes. Do you understand what is written on the PDF? And tell me a story. Is this enough to understand India-Russia relations? INSTC and Iran relations in India. Okay. So first of all, let me be very clear. 90% of my source is Ministry of External Affairs. So there is nothing that I do on my own, right? 90% of the source is always MEA, because that is a benchmark, Government of India's official source. The other 5% is Dr. Raja Mohan's articles, right? And the rest of the 5 depends either it's ORF groupings or other think tanks. So 5% is Raja Mohan, 5% is think tanks. The 90% comes from what? Ministry of External Affairs. And what you see is more than sufficient for writing answers, especially for GS paper 2. Coming to INSTC, North-South Transport Corridor, that is a valid point, but again we can use Russia's help in leveraging friendship. So if you see the first point, do you remember the 1971 Treaty of Peace and Friendship? No? Why? Did we ever discuss this in the class before? When?
Bangladesh liberation.
Right. See, that is called as interconnection, right? Interconnection of data. We have to go back to even the first stage or the third stage of India foreign policy development, right? Regional assertion. So 1971. So when Pakistan, USA, and China were friends, they threatened India not to liberate Bangladesh. At that time, India went and had a friendship with Russia. So from there onwards, we have a continuous friendship. So you can either write a running notes or remember this. Last year we celebrated 50 years of what? 1971 treaty. Okay. 1971 treaty was made with USSR. Whereas after that, now we are having relations with Russia. Okay. And I think this year or last year, I think this year only, marks 75 years of diplomatic relations between India and Russia. Okay. Do you want to write or just running notes? See, again, dictating line by line is pointless, right? But remember the importance of 1971 India Treaty on Peace and Friendship that defines India-Russia relations. Okay. Next, one more advantage with Russia is Russia always trusted India and India always trusted Russia, and both of them have simple dream, that is multilateral world. Okay. You have already written Russia, right? All the points. More or less, you understood everything on the board. You understood everything. So take down a question. Don't worry, you don't have to write, but take down the question. What are the implications of Russia-Ukraine war? Russia-Ukraine war on India-USA, and India-EU relations. India-EU relations. Now we will learn the art of answer writing. What is the question? Russia-Ukraine war implications. Okay, on India USA relations and
India,
EU relations. Okay. So the core demand of the question is not Russia Ukraine war. The core demand is its spillover effects on India US India EU relations. Okay. Now you have to think of an intro, then a body, then a way forward, because it is not final, right? Like way forward means it is still emerging issue. So how do you deal with it? Okay. So intro is one side heading. I mean, you don't have to mention intro. Next, India US relations, India EU relations, and then way forward. So there are four structures. Your answer is like in four structure. Okay. You cannot write India EU relations in 6 points and India USA relations in 2 points. Both of them have to be equal, like 4 points or at least 5 points. It depends, but you have to write them. Now again, you have to think, how are they affected? Yes. What is India's stand? See, this is all brainstorming, right? Is India and Russia close? Yes. Are we following strategic autonomy? Are we blaming Russia? Technically, we are blaming Russia, but not to the level that USA wants us to. So that is where the quote comes into the picture, right? Even in Samarkand, the SCO meeting recently, Prime Minister Modi in September 2022, that is 1 month before, blamed Russia, saying that you have to stop the war. You have to start talking. So it's not like India is not criticizing Russia. India is criticizing Russia. But if you look it from USA prism, are they satisfied? No, they want us to do more. If we do more, it will affect India-USA relations. If we do that, India-Russia relations will be severely affected. Second thing, in spite of all these things, we are buying oil from Russia because oil is cheap right now. And we are also continuing ahead with S-400 deal. Yes. So is it affecting India-US relations? How? The next, India-EU relations. How are they affected?
Blaming India for importing that oil, even though the sanctions has been issued on Russia.
Technically, all G7 countries have blamed Russia. G7 countries have imposed sanctions on Russia, but India is willing to buy oil from Russia. Okay. Now, will that affect India-EU relations? Will they not be happy or will they be happy? They also need oil, right? They also need oil security. They also need energy security. But the thing is, nothing is moving ahead. Okay. And second thing, India has abstained voting in UN time and again by the proposals brought in by the Western countries. Okay. Next, what is the way forward? What should we do? Yes, what is the way forward? Online?
We should stick to our national interests.
Even at the cost of affecting relations with US and EU? Will P5 membership help? If we have P5 membership, maybe it might help. But right now, P5 is again split into two, right? P3 and P2. They themselves are not talking. Even so, P3 would have happened, or P4 P2 would have happened.
started buying weapons from US and not proven.
How does this change in Russia? So that is context, right? You should not go out of Russia-Ukraine war.
To stop a war or to protect that not to
That
come in
is
conflict with the US.
that is something you should tell me. We are already moving towards alternative supply chains. All this is general, right? Not specific to this issue. So what she is raising is, because we are already buying weapons from USA, why can't we punish Russia? Why do you have to be afraid of offending Russia? That is one line of thinking. But as you also know, 60% of our weapons are Russian based. So we are having a legacy relation with Russia. So karra verakudu, pamu chavakudu. You should maintain that golden balance. So you should talk to USA and convince it that I have my own strategic interests. Okay, in future we might move away. At the same time, there is one more secret to all these things, right? If India can somehow leverage its relations with USA and Russia and bring them closer to talk to each other, right now, so Joe Biden have made extreme statements like we will never talk to Putin. Even Zelensky also made a statement like the present president of Russia is useless, like I won't talk to him. But unless you talk to him, the problem is not going to go away, right? The war started in February. Okay, it's almost 7-8 months, and in 2-3 months it will be 1 year. In 1 year also, if the war is not going ahead, and both the sides are facing heavy casualties, lot of losses, but Russia is in a suicide mission. It will die. It will also take everybody with it. Already European economy is collapsing. You have seen the drama in Britain, right? Like Europe economy is collapsing, energy security is collapsing, and winter is coming, and in winter you need more fuel, right? So it is not going to be easy for the world. European economy is not willing to die because of Russia-Ukraine war, right? USA is very happy elsewhere. Global recession might hit. So this is not something that is only India's problem. It is problem of everyone. Probably we are the only country who are in a better place economy-wise. Every other country is already having issues. So knowing all these things, somebody has to take that initiative. And if India can pull off this, it will project India in a wonderful light. Yes or no? India will be one of those few countries which actually did something rather than talking. But there are too many egos involved and all those things. But India can try. That is the summary. Got it? So this is context. So don't write some points as I was saying. Like we can write. We have to write what is in the context of Russia-Ukraine war. So you can also bring in humanitarian arguments, right? Food security is being severely affected by Russia-Ukraine war. People are dying everywhere. Supplies will be affected. Economies will collapse. That is a much bigger problem. So we have to join hands to solve these issues. Okay. Now, if the question is very simple, for example, what is India-Russia relations, or what is the present status of India-Russia relations, then you can write down everything that you know. Like from 1971 till now, we are like this. We are moving towards 2+2 dialogue, everything so on and so forth. Even in the way forward, you can say India should talk more with Russia, 2+2. But the question is very specific about India-USA relations and India-EU relations. Next, they also need India. USA needs India, EU needs India. So you can use that as a leverage to get more sanctions lifted on Russia. Clear? See, never ever assume that people are smart. Humanity is one of the most stupid races on the entire universe, right? Probably we actually don't know what we are doing. We think we know what we are doing, but nobody actually knows anything. Nobody. If you go back to Jan, go and read editorials in January. Everybody wrote saying, Putin won't go for war. Putin won't escalate the war. Everybody assumed that Putin will bluff. Like he will bluff. He will say, I will go to the war, and he will drop off. But when he actually started the war, everybody was like, what happened? Oh my God. It's a new paradigm shift. So assuming one thing is one thing. And I'm talking about whom? Military strategists, defense experts, IR experts, everybody said, no, Putin won't go to the war. Okay. So that is the ground reality. The world actually does not know in which direction it is headed. And the further strengthening of ties between Russia and China might also will have ramifications. See, one man, Putin, is destabilizing the entire global security, and USA is happily adding fuel to that. So there are no heroes in this story. Everybody have his or her own role to blame. Clear? Next, one more question. Next question, just for ideas sake. UNSC have failed. UNSC have failed to stop Russia-Ukraine war? Discuss. 10 marker. What is the core demand of this question? Should we write about Russia-Ukraine war? Or should we write about Russia-USA relations? Or should we write about overall failure of UNSC? What is the actual demand of that question?
UNSC failure. See how.
Because if you write only about Russia-Ukraine war and UNSC, you will not have more than 3 or 4 points. UNSC, USA have brought in resolutions, Russia vetoed it. That's the end of the story. There is nothing more to add. You have to justify your argument with further examples on how it is not something new. UNSC has been a failure from a long amount of time. Okay, that is why we need UNSC reforms. Okay, Russia-Ukraine war is the best opportunity for the world to understand UNSC reforms are much needed now. Okay, we should probably kick out some countries if need be. Yes or no? Because if you are not understanding the rationality, or if you are not willing to go for a dialogic process, then what is the purpose of having a process? Not at the cost of human life. Yes or no? Yes. Is UNSC a failure from a good amount of time? No. It has been a success? No. Then it has both success and failures. When it comes to small countries, it is a success. When it comes to big countries, it is a failure. So that is why we need UNSC reforms. So intro, you can write that multiple resolutions have been brought in against Russia, but they failed to take off. Okay, cultivate. And second thing, even if sanctions are imposed on Russia, with the help of China, Russia is happily surviving. Yes or no? Just think about it. If Russia is not helped by China, who will buy Russian oil? Probably India, but not a very small amount, right? Not to the amount that Russia is buying. Weapon support, and all those things. Okay. See, I recently read a very interesting article. Pakistan has given some missiles to Ukraine, so that is why USA is helping back Pakistan again. You understand the dynamics, right? Like how West is willing to help anyone who will further its own agenda. West wants to see Russia's destruction. Okay, it will go to any length. But Russia is also a nation, right? And when I say Russia, Russia is not Putin. Russia is people. Yes? If nations collapse, that will always spill over as a problem into the world. Okay. By January, I'm pretty sure European energy crisis will be, a humanitarian disaster. Unlike in India, if you don't have fuel in Western countries during the winter, people will die. In India, you don't see people dying on the roads because of cold, right? Something will be there. Few deaths will be there. But in European countries, if people don't have fuel and energy, people will die because of cold. Minus degrees, right? Minus 20, minus 30. A lot of deaths will happen. Even in Russia, that might be a problem. So all these are more or less summer months. But winter is a whole different monster to be dealt. Okay. Yes. Any other questions that you have that you failed to ask me? We have to vote against if there are human rights violations, right? We didn't vote. Again, our own dependency on Russia. Two things. India is in this junction. Okay. So right? The other side of the road is freedom. This side of the road is dependency. Right now, exactly we are in this junction. Okay, we are in the middle way. We are not totally free. At the same time, we are not totally, I mean, we are not 100% free. We are also at the same time 50% dependent. Because we are in the junction, this is something new for India. This sphere, I mean, this part is new to India. Earlier, we were 100% here. In all the cases till now, we are happily way before the dependency line. That means we are always are dependent on someone. So even if Russia goes and kills someone tomorrow, we will close our eyes and happily say, yes, Russia is a good friend. Okay. If we are here, like USA, then we will say, yes, Russia is a villain. So two extremes, right? So right now we are in the middle of the junction where we are not 100% free to blame Russia. At the same time, unlike past, we are not 100% dependent on Russia. We are like two legs, one on the other side, one on this side. So this is something new for not only me, for entire Indian foreign policy makers. India is in that junction where we are economically going to be powerful, where everybody needs us. We are having a good momentum. We are doing something good. All good things are happening to India. Okay, not only from Russia, but from multiple fronts. So because we don't know how to deal with this situation, we are neither blaming Russia. I mean, we are not 100% blaming Russia. At the same time, we are not staying quiet. We are saying that Russia is doing something wrong. Russia should stop the war and start discussing. At the same time, we are not fully free to blame Russia. In 2040, as I told you, 2035, 2040, probably India will be here. Okay, then I think India can take that stand. Okay, and as an emerging leader of the world, you cannot not take a stand. You have to take a stand, good or bad, like China have done. China is totally pro-Russia. Okay, even in a SCO meeting, if you observe, Prime Minister Modi on the stage, he blamed Russia, saying, Russia is doing something wrong. Russia should stop the war. Xi Jinping did not make any similar statement. He was very clear not to talk anything about Russia. Why? This junction also leads to USA. Yes or no? So we have a pressure from USA to blame Russia. At the same time, we are also dependent on Russia and we are moving towards future. We are also dependent on EU, Gulf, lot of drama. So this is a whole new territory for India and its diplomats and its citizens. We are newly asserting ourselves. So once you get the hang of the diagram, you will understand why India is not able to take any clear stand. We are proper Gopi batch. No, we are neither here nor there. We have to move in one direction, and that movement will come only through one thing, that is, once we become $5 trillion economy, then we will not listen to anyone. We will blame even USA also. Yes. No? Understood? That's the tricky part in where Dr. Jaishankar has to take the decisions. Everything has new opportunities. If I blame, I have new doors. If I don't blame, I will keep some old doors closed. So that is a balancing thing. And most important dependency is weapons, right? Okay. See, you should not underestimate the psychoism of other countries. If let's say we blame Russia and tomorrow Russia makes a statement saying that, I am not going to supply arms and raw materials to India, very next second Pakistan will start something like Kargil. Because all our Bofor guns and all those things are dependent on Russian raw materials. So you should not underestimate the power of our regimes. Sitting here and saying is easy, but you have to take the grassroots level things. Got it? Which one? India, USA, and India, EU relations. Russia. There again, it's kind of same diagram but different, right? Here we are in this junction with Russia, USA. We are almost very close to USA. In comparison to Russia, we are already almost in the alliance of USA, but not calling it as alliance. So there the dependency is like clear. USA needs India, India needs USA. So no matter how much we love and hate each other, there will be up and down, but still we will move in the positive direction. So I'm clear. So that is why India is saying, I will import weapons from Russia. S-400, I will import, do whatever you want to do. Why am I able to tell that? Because our relations are already moved in a very further direction. I don't have the fear that you will cut it. You cannot cut me out right now. You need me. That is USS. So as I said, polity, geography, economy, Indian leaders, everything matters in IR. If this was the same India in 1990, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. We'll happily close our eyes and wait and watch. Okay. With great power comes great responsibilities. Who said that? Spider-Man. Technically, Uncle Ben of Spider-Man, right? So Uncle Ben told to Spider-Man, and Obama. Are we clear on everything that we have discussed? So this is how you bring everything and write answers. Normally in IR you will also use maps. A lot of maps will help. Yes. Next. So far, what are the things that we have covered? We have covered the basics of IR. We have covered USA, Russia, and China, the three major countries. Then we have covered the Middle East, and Indo-Pacific has been covered. So at least when you see newspapers, you'll have a major idea. Have you seen today's newspaper? Any IR news?
China ambassador told that China and India can have set up the disputes through negotiations or dialogues. Because though we differ in some points, it is very important being a neighbor to each other.
Okay. Anything about 26/11?
UNSC, all the ambassadors, representatives of every country, they pay tribute
to 26/11. What is
China?
What is the significance of that move? It shows that India has gained a lot of significance on counter-terrorism. So you can write the same point in all P5 countries, right? All the P5 countries and India are collaborating on counter-terrorism. Yes. In international relation news, you also have seen Myanmar have bombed its civilians. No, IR page. Anything related to Sri Lanka? No paper in hostel. Okay. We have. See, tell me. There is a world column, right? Headings, I told you to at least read headings, right? What is the heading read? Myanmar military air strikes kill 80 people. Okay. The Prime Minister of India, UK is a person of Indian origin. Yes. Next. Any other heading? No, Sri Lanka. If it is not there, it is not there. Don't worry. So China, India, Myanmar, India, UK, India, all the three things are there in the today's newspaper. And UNSC and counter-terrorism is also there in the newspaper. So understanding them will be much easier for you, at least to get an idea what is happening, what is UNSC. So that is the purpose of whatever we have discussed. So I assume all of you are reading newspapers. So you understood everything that we have discussed so far. Any questions pending? Then we can move on to small countries like Maldives. I will give you the handouts, you can read them. Japan is one major country where we have to discuss some brief idea. EU also we have discussed, right? European Union, it's more about trade. West Asia briefly I have touched. Groupings are there like BRICS, SCO, ASEAN. But again, most of them are overlapping. You already know diaspora. Anyone, Pradeep, Subraya, any questions? Arun, no questions? Nothing to ask? Understood everything? Hmm? Not yet. When? During? Revision.
Sir,
Yes.
should we be start writing answers from now?
No. I again, as I said, work on consolidation of the notes, right? Like that will be much helpful to you. Start whenever you see something in the newspaper, the keywords or something, put them under IR dump, like keyword dump or topic specific dump. Okay? So if you work on that thing, that will be helpful. Answer writing has to happen only when you understand economy, internal security, and other areas also. Nothing else. So we'll cover Japan tomorrow. Japan and small countries will cover quickly. So that's much easier. If you don't have any questions, I will end the session here.